Hey everyone, and welcome to Auto Care Master. You know, we all have those little driving habits, right? The ones that feel completely harmless, but what if I told you some of them are silently racking up a massive repair bill? Well, today we are going to pull back the curtain on the common mistakes that are secretly damaging your car, and, more importantly, how to stop them in their tracks.
So let me ask you something. Think about the last time you were in a real hurry, maybe backing out of a parking spot. Did you maybe shift from reverse into drive while the car was still rolling backward, even just a little? Come on, be honest. It feels like it saves a second, I know, but that one single second could be costing you thousands.
And hey, if you just said yes to that, you are definitely not alone. It's wild, but a recent study found that more than 80% of drivers are slowly damaging their cars with habits just like that one, and most of us don't even have a clue we're doing it. So let's dive in and break down exactly what these mistakes are and how you can put a stop to them for good.
All right, we're going to start with the big one, the really big one, your transmission. You really don't want to mess this up, because if you do, well, you're looking at one of the most eye-wateringly expensive repairs you could imagine. So let's talk about these habits, the ones we call the silent transmission killers. And habit number one is that classic we just talked about, shifting from reverse to drive, or, drive to reverse, while the car is still moving. I get it, we've all done it, trying to save a split second in a busy parking lot. But let me show you what that little moment of impatience could actually cost you. Yep. $4,000. That is the kind of bill you could be looking at for a new transmission. So what is it? Why is this one tiny, seemingly insignificant action so incredibly destructive? Okay, so here's the thing you gotta understand. Your transmission was built to do one job: change gears. It was absolutely not designed to be a brake. When you shift while the car is still rolling, you're forcing all those intricate parts to fight against the car's momentum. It's kind of like, imagine slamming on the brakes, but instead of using brake pads, you are using the delicate internal gears and clutches of your transmission. That massive shockwave of force just causes incredible wear and tear, and eventually, boom, catastrophic failure.
All right, the next transmission killer is a sneaky one. It actually happens when you are not even moving. I am talking about the habit of not using the parking brake. In an automatic car, I know, there's this huge myth out there that it's only for manual cars. Well, let me tell you, that myth is completely 100% wrong.
And here is exactly why. When you just throw your car into park, the only thing preventing 2 tons of steel and glass from rolling away is this tiny little metal pin. It is called a parking pawl. Seriously, it is about the size of your pinky finger, and we're asking it to hold the entire weight of the car. That is just a recipe for disaster, especially if you're parked on any kind of hill. All that constant stress can make it wear down, crack, or even snap right off.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Literally, we are moving on to the heart of your car, the engine. These next few habits are really insidious because they cause damage from the inside out, starting from the very second you turn that key.
First up, let's bust a huge myth. A myth a lot of us are probably taught by our parents, that you need to let your car just sit there and idle for like 10 minutes to warm up. Well, for any modern car, that is actually doing more harm than good. The truth is, engineers all agree. You only need about 30 seconds, maybe up to a minute. That is just enough time for the oil to start circulating. Then you should actually start driving. Just, take it easy at first. So you might be asking, why is idling so bad? Well, think about it. When your engine is cold, all the oil is thick, like molasses, and is sitting at the bottom in the oil pan. Letting it idle for a long time just wastes a ton of fuel and creates nasty carbon buildup. And get this, one study found that a single cold start can cause as much wear on your engine as driving for 62 miles. The crazy thing is, the engine actually warms up faster and more evenly when you are driving it gently.
But wait, there is actually something you can do that's even worse on a cold start. And that is revving the engine hard, right after you turn it on. You see it all the time, especially in the winter, right? People thinking that blipping the throttle will warm the car up faster. Oh no.
Doing that is one of the absolute fastest ways to destroy an engine, period. Because that thick, cold oil hasn't had time to get everywhere it needs to be, you are literally grinding metal against unprotected metal. This can cause some really nasty issues like piston slap. That's where the piston literally rattles inside the cylinder. And trust me, the repair bill for that can easily hit $5,000 or even more.
All right, let's move on to the lifeblood of your vehicle, its fluids. It's amazing how many expensive, complicated repairs can be traced right back to just simple neglect of what is in your tank and in your engine.
So let's be honest for a second. Do you ever play fuel level limbo? You know what I am talking about. That risky little game of seeing just how low you can let that needle go before you finally give in and head to the gas station.
Yeah, it might seem totally harmless, but it's actually a terrible idea for a couple of big reasons. First off, your fuel pump lives inside your gas tank, and it actually uses the gasoline around it to stay cool and lubricated. So when that fuel level gets super low, the pump can overheat and burn itself out. And second, all the gunk and sediment that's built up over the years in your tank, it all settles at the very bottom. When you run it that low, you are basically sucking all that junk straight into your fuel filter and injectors. Not good.
And you know, it is not just about the gasoline. Let's talk about another supercritical fluid, your transmission fluid. Now, you've probably heard car makers talk about their lifetime fluid, but I love this quote because it hits the nail on the head. It says, "Lifetime fluid often means the lifetime of the transmission, which you just shorten by believing them." And that is the absolute truth. All fluids break down over time. There is no magic liquid that lasts forever. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. Follow a schedule. It's not complicated. Change your engine oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. For your transmission, have the fluid checked around 30,000 miles, and then plan to get it completely changed by 60,000. Following these simple intervals is, without a doubt, your best defense against a huge, unexpected repair bill. Okay, so we've covered a whole bunch of bad habits, but here's the good news. The fixes for all of these things are incredibly simple. So let's just walk through the correct way to do things so you can protect your car and, just as importantly, your wallet.
First, let's talk about the right way to park. To take all that stress off that tiny little parking paw, you have to do it in this specific order, okay? First, come to a complete stop. Second, while your foot is still on the regular brake pedal, pull up or press down on your parking brake. Third, shift the car into park. And finally, then you can release the regular foot brake. Doing it this way makes sure the parking brake is holding the car's weight, not that little pin in your transmission.
And what about starting your car? Well, that routine is just as simple. Just start the engine, and then use the next 30 seconds or so to buckle up, check your mirrors, maybe pick your music. After that, just drive gently for the first few miles. The real key here is to avoid any hard acceleration until you see that temperature gauge start to move up off of cold. You know, this quote really brings the whole idea together perfectly. Safety isn't just about how you drive, it's also about how you park. It's just a great reminder that really taking care of your car is all about those small, mindful habits you practice every single day, even when the car is not moving at all.
And there you have it. That is our look at some of the most common ways drivers unknowingly damage their own cars. If you found this helpful, and I hope you did, do us a quick favor and hit that like button, maybe share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and of course, subscribe to AutoCare Master for more simple, straightforward car advice.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. We really hope you will join us for our next explainer, where we are going to investigate a really surprising question. Could your air conditioning habits be quietly destroying your engine? It is a good one. You are not going to want to miss it. Hello and welcome to AutoCare Master. I'm your host, and today we are going to explore a goal that every true car enthusiast dreams of, getting into the 200,000 mile club. That is the number, right? The magic number that really proves a car has been well loved and well cared for. When you see a car with that kind of mileage, you know it is more than just a machine. It is a story of dedication. So, the big question is, how can we get our own cars to that legendary milestone? Let us find out together. You have probably wondered about this. We all have. You see an older car just cruising along smoothly with 250,000 miles on the odometer, and you think to yourself, what is the secret? Was the owner just lucky? Did they get a 1 in a million car off the assembly line? Because we've all seen the opposite happen too. A car that struggles to even reach 100,000 miles before it starts having major problems. What makes the difference? Well, I have some really good news for you. It is not about luck at all. Getting a car to last a long time is not like winning the lottery. The real secret to a car's longevity is actually not a secret. It all comes down to a series of choices, simple choices that you, the owner, make every day.
So let us get right to it. Is hitting 200,000 miles a realistic goal in this day and age? The answer is a resounding yes. In fact, it has never been more achievable. The cars we drive today are incredibly well built. They are engineered with the potential for a very long lifespan right from the factory. So the question is not really if your car can make it, it is about what you can do to help it get there.
And this brings us to the most important idea we are going to talk about today. It is about two completely different ways to think about car ownership. I like to call them firefighting versus prevention. And believe me when I say this, the mindset you choose to adopt will be the single most important factor in whether your car reaches that 200,000-mile goal.
So, what is the difference between these two approaches? Well, firefighting is a reactive approach. You wait for something to break, for a warning light to come on, for a strange noise to start, and then you rush to fix it. It is like waiting for a horrible toothache before you finally decide to visit the dentist. On the other hand, prevention is all about being proactive. It means staying ahead of problems with regular checkups and scheduled service. It is all about fixing things before they have a chance to break. And if you still need some convincing, just take a look at the numbers. They really tell the whole story. A simple preventative oil change might cost you, say, $100. But if you ignore it and let the engine get damaged, you could be facing a bill for $10,000 to replace the entire engine. It is the same with your brakes. A few hundred for new pads, or over $1,000 if you damage the rotors and calipers. The difference in cost is just enormous. This is not just about keeping your car running. It is about saving you a massive amount of money. Okay, so prevention is key. But it does not just happen at the repair shop. It actually starts every single time you get behind the wheel. So now let us talk about your daily driving habits, the simple and often totally free things you can do that have a huge impact on your car's long-term health. Look at this number on the screen, 99.2 kilometers. That is about 62 miles. Now, what if I told you that one single cold start on a chilly morning can cause the same amount of wear and tear on your engine as driving that entire distance? It sounds unbelievable, I know, but it is backed by science. When your engine is cold, the oil is thick, like honey, and it cannot lubricate the moving parts properly. That creates a huge amount of friction and stress every single time you start your car from cold. So what should you do? A lot of people believe you should let the car idle in the driveway for 5 or 10 minutes. That is actually an old myth, and it is not the best way. The Society of Automotive Engineers has studied this, and here is the correct procedure. First, start the engine. Second, just wait about 30 to 60 seconds. That is all it takes for the oil to start circulating. And third, just drive away gently. Do not rev the engine high. The engine will warm up to its proper temperature much faster and more efficiently when it is under a light load.
And here are a few other habits that we really need to avoid. Hitting the gas pedal hard when the engine is still cold is one of the worst things you can do. And think about those really short trips, just down the block to the store and back. They are what we call engine killers. The engine never gets hot enough to burn off moisture and contaminants. A really easy fix for this? Try to bundle your errands together. Turn a few short trips into one longer one. Your engine will be much happier.
All right, so we have covered the daily habits, but what about the long-term strategy? This leads us to the second pillar of a long-lasting car, sticking to the maintenance schedule. This is the secret that is not a secret at all. It is usually right there in your owner's manual, and it is your single best weapon against those huge, unexpected repair bills we looked at earlier.
You can think of this timeline as your personal roadmap to 200,000 miles, and it is really not that complicated. It all begins with the most important thing, regular oil and filter changes. That is the lifeblood of your engine. Then, as you hit these other milestones, you take care of other critical components, your brakes, your tires, your transmission fluid. Every one of these is a small, proactive investment that prevents a much bigger, much more expensive problem from happening later on.
Now, the great thing is that being proactive today is so much easier than it used to be. And why is that? It is because our cars are literally talking to us all the time. They are telling us exactly what they need to stay healthy. We just need to learn how to listen.
And the most basic way your car communicates is right in front of your face, on the dashboard. All of those little warning lights for things like oil pressure, engine temperature, or tire pressure, they are not there for decoration. They are your car's early warning system. They are designed to get your attention before a small issue becomes a catastrophic failure. So here's a simple rule to live by. If a warning light comes on, do not ignore it. Get it checked out as soon as you can.
So how do those lights even know when to turn on? It is thanks to a very sophisticated network of sensors and computers that are built into every modern car. This whole system is called onboard diagnostics, or OBD2. You can think of it as a full-time doctor for your car.
It is constantly monitoring everything, collecting data, and it is smart enough to predict when a component might be about to fail. It has completely changed the game, turning car maintenance from guesswork into a science.
So when we put all of these pieces together, our daily habits, the maintenance schedule, and listening to the car's warnings, it all comes back to one central theme. You do not need to be a professional mechanic to make your car last a very long time. All you need is to adopt a proactive mindset. This quote right here really says it all. This is the fundamental truth of everything we have discussed. Do not think of preventative care as an expense. Think of it as an investment in your car's future that will pay you back many, many times over by helping you avoid those wallet-crushing repair bills.
Your car has the potential for a long and healthy life built right into it. And every single day, it is sending you signals, telling you exactly what it needs from you to reach that potential. The only question left is, are you listening? Thank you so much for joining me here on Auto Care Master. If you found this explainer helpful, please do us a favor and hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the Auto Care Master channel. It truly helps us continue to create this content for you. Until next time, drive safe and take care.